The dress had torn when Maya stepped off the bus. She felt it before she heard it, the faint rip of fabric near her hip, followed by a cold rush of evening air against her skin. Her heart dropped. She glanced down and saw the damage, a jagged tear running along the side seam of her faded blue dress. Of all nights. She stood frozen on the sidewalk, clutching her small purse, fighting the urge to cry. The streetlights flickered on, casting pale yellow halos over cracked pavement and tired storefronts. Across the road, a cozy little cafe glowed warmly, its windows fogged from fresh coffee and baked bread. That was the place. Her blind date. Maya pressed her lips together and took a slow breath. She couldn't go back home, not after borrowing money from her neighbor just to afford the bus fare and a cheap lipstick. She had spent an hour curling her hair in front of a mirror that barely stayed on the wall. Tonight mattered. She tried pulling the fabric together with her fingers. It didn't help. "Just walk carefully," she whispered to herself. Inside the cafe, soft music played and the smell of cinnamon wrapped around her like a blanket. A few couples sat close together, laughing quietly. Maya scanned the room until she spotted the man from the photo her friend had shown her. Ethan. He sat alone at a corner table, wearing a simple gray sweater and jeans. His posture was relaxed, but his eyes carried the tired look of someone who had learned responsibility too early. Across from him, in a booster seat, sat a little girl with curly brown hair, coloring intently on a placemat. Maya hesitated. She hadn't known he'd bring his daughter. Her friend had only said he's a single dad, really kind. Maya smoothed her hair and walked toward the table, keeping her purse pressed tightly against her torn dress. "Hi," she said softly. Ethan looked up and smiled. It wasn't flashy or practiced, just warm and genuine. "Maya." "Yes. I'm Ethan, and this is Lily." Lily peeked up shyly, then waved with a crayon-stained hand. "Hi." Maya smiled back. "Hi, Lily." She sat down carefully, angling her body so the tears stayed hidden. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment. She kept her purse in her lap, shoulders tense. Ethan noticed. Not the tear, yet, but the way she avoided shifting in her chair, the way her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. "You okay?" he asked gently. "Yeah, just a long day." He nodded like he understood exactly what that meant. They ordered coffee. Lily proudly showed Maya her drawing, a family of stick figures holding hands. Maya praised it and Lily beamed. For a moment, Maya almost forgot about the dress. Almost. But when she reached for her cup, the purse slipped from her lap, falling to the floor. Instinctively, Maya bent down to grab it. That's when Ethan saw. The torn fabric, the way Maya's hand flew to cover it, the color drained from her face. She straightened quickly, eyes shining with unshed tears. "I'm so sorry," she murmured, voice shaking. "I should have canceled. This is embarrassing." Ethan didn't stare. He didn't ask questions. He simply stood up. "Excuse me for 1 minute," he said calmly. Maya watched, confused, as he walked to the counter and quietly spoke to the cashier. Then he pulled out his phone, typed something quickly, and returned to the table. "Lily," he said softly, "remember that little store next door with the dresses?" Lily nodded. "We're going to take a short walk, okay?" Maya frowned. "You don't have to." Ethan held up a gentle hand. "Please let me." The boutique next door was small and warm, run by an elderly woman who greeted Ethan like a regular. Maya stood awkwardly near the entrance while Ethan whispered something to the shop owner. The woman nodded kindly and brought over a simple cream-colored dress. "It's on sale," she said. "Last one in that size." Maya's eyes widened. "Ethan, I can't." "It's not charity," he said quietly. "It's just kindness." She swallowed hard. In the tiny changing room, Maya slipped out of her torn dress and into the new one. It fit perfectly. When she looked at herself in the mirror, she barely recognized the woman staring back. Not because of the dress, because someone had cared. She walked back out, hands trembling. Ethan looked up. For a second, he forgot how to breathe. "You look really beautiful," he said simply. Maya laughed softly through tears. "Thank you, I don't know how to repay you." "You already did," he replied. "You showed up." Back at the cafe, the mood changed. Maya relaxed. She told Ethan about working 2 part-time jobs and sending money to her mother. Ethan shared stories about raising Lily after his wife passed away 3 years earlier. There was no pretending between them. Just honesty. Lily crawled into Maya's lap halfway through dessert and fell asleep with her tiny head against Maya's chest. Maya froze. Ethan chuckled quietly. She only does that when she feels safe. Maya brushed Lily's hair gently. "I guess I passed the test." Outside, rain began to fall, tapping softly against the windows. Ethan paid the bill and helped Maya into her coat. "Do you need a ride home?" he asked. She hesitated, then nodded. In the car, silence settled comfortably between them. Maya watched the streetlights blur past, thinking about how close she'd come to canceling. At her building, she turned to him. Tonight could have gone very differently. He nodded. But it didn't. She smiled. Before getting out, she leaned over and kissed Lily's forehead. "Good night, princess." Lily stirred and smiled in her sleep. Maya stepped out into the rain, holding her new dress close to her heart. They didn't rush into anything. They took walks in the park, shared cheap pizza on Friday nights. Maya helped Lily with homework while Ethan cooked. Slowly, quietly, something real grew between them. Months later, Ethan admitted something. "I almost canceled that date." Maya blinked. "Why?" "Because I was tired and broke and afraid of letting someone into Lily's life." She smiled softly. "I almost canceled too. My dress tore, remember?" He laughed. "I'm glad neither of us did." Life didn't magically become perfect. Bills still came. Some days were heavy, but they faced them together. One evening, as Maya tucked Lily into bed, the little girl wrapped her arms around Maya's neck. "Are you gonna stay forever?" Maya looked at Ethan standing in the doorway. "I hope so," she whispered. Years later, Maya would tell people that love didn't arrive for her wrapped in roses or fancy dinners. It arrived in a quiet cafe, with a torn dress, a tired single dad, and a simple act of kindness that changed everything.